Hello guys, welcome to the show. It's your boy Mtuma Kosini. So excited to be here, and finally, guys, I'm getting a bit like into it now. So I'm finally going to be like starting a series I've been planning on doing for a while, and I'm very happy that I'm finally doing it. So the name of the series will be who to vote for, and as you can guess, it's going to be about which party to vote for on like the upcoming election. So I thought it would be a fitting time to do it because like parties are releasing their manifestos, so that would be like a good I think point for me to even like give a review on what I think about those manifestos. Should we vote for them? You shouldn't vote for them. But before we even like go to like the official series, I just wanted to do this introductory video where I'm just going to, you know, like so I forgot what you call it, but like when you're writing a novel, well, I think it's introduction, but yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, so I would first say I think you vote on parties on three things. There's probably more things, but the three things I'm going to mention probably can summarize what you vote a party on. I would say the first point will be principles or values. Second point will be mechanism or execution, or execution of policy. And the last point will be accountability or enforcement. you know so I think without at least these three pillars, is what I like to call them, a political party will not function well when they don't do well within any of those pillars. So if you're failing one of these, you're likely not going to be a good party to vote for, or a good government in general. So, by the way, these three things link to each other, right? So you have your principles and your values. So what does the party stand for? What do you think it's important to embrace or not to embrace? Are you suggesting that we should be patriarchal? Are you I would say a religious organization? I would say, okay, are you religious in a sense that non-tolerant? Okay, are you an extremist? That's what I'm trying to describe. Are you an extremist organization that, let's say, preaches non-tolerance to other religions? For instance, you get what I'm saying? Are you a party that embrace the multiracial nature of like South Africa? So those will be your values. You need to do well there, because I mean, if you tend to be up for or about something that is kind of no, if you do well, if you do bad with like your values and your principles, like your whole ideology is effed up as a party, and I don't think it will be practical. you know I'll give examples later on. And I think the second one would be, as I've mentioned, mechanism, policy, execution of your policies. So now that you have, let's say you have good principles and you have good values that you stand for, you're against poverty, you're against inequality and all those sort of things. But now, do you have plans? Can you execute those? Are your plans practicals? Are they achievable? Are they good? Are they efficient? you know can you achieve your plans? Are you good at actually like practicing your plans? Can you do the stuff that's needed? If you aren't good at executing your plans, it doesn't matter how good your plans are. That's why you're gonna have your 8 turnaround strategy. Because the strategy it's not even a measurement of sometimes your policies. Your execution is so bad So you get what I'm saying? So if you're really bad at that, it doesn't matter how good your policy. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how good your values and your principles are going to the first P. And I would say the last one I mentioned is enforcement and like accountability, right? So let's say you are now failing with like your second pillar. What do you do? Because I would assume you're not gonna be truly successful with whatever you try to execute or whatever you try to do, right? But if you don't have accountability and enforcement, it's kind of like you can't now guard that your execution is good, or you can't self-correct. You get what I'm saying? So even let's say now you start having developing bad values, you start adopting bad principles. There's no accountability and enforcement, so when any of the first two pillars fail or are not heading in the right direction, if your last pillar now it's bad, you kind of like will not be able to self-correct, and therefore that's why you're not likely to make a good government, right? And the last one is also important, just as the first two, because you're gonna have mishaps. You need to be accountable, you need to be able to enforce your plans and do enforcement, because people are going to be the one doing these things, right? And we know people aren't perfect, so the whole party should be able to deal with the mistakes that are brought about, like human error. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. I like saying you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying though. So for a typical example, based on like on those three pillars, I can already rate three parties as parties not to vote for. You know, I would say don't vote for the ANC, don't vote for the Freedom Front Plus, don't vote for Black Land First. Because one, the ANC, while they have good principles and values, their policy and their execution is just very bad. You get what I'm saying? So the first one now, no matter how good it is, it doesn't matter. So, and the enforcement, they just as bad at enforcement and accountability. I mean, they have a problem with corruption, right? And we have to be realistic about like corruption. Corruption is people taking advantage of a system. So as much as a party might be, we don't stand for corruption. If it has corrupt people, it will be a corrupt party, right? And even if it doesn't have corrupt people, people are liable to, like, to be corrupted. So it has to have a mechanism to protect against such things. It shouldn't say because we haven't instilled anything, we are clean. You get what I'm saying? But the ANC, they're not even there yet. They're struggling with like they're good with the first pillar, good principles and good values. Because I mean, they for non-sexism, for multiracialism and equality. The good stuff, the stuff that we all want, the stuff that brings peace. Okay, let me just put it like that. So yeah, and then your Freedom Front Plus and Blackland First, they are extreme parties. you know? And if they claim they are not, why do they attract so many extremists? I don't know. But so they for me, their principles and values are bad, because if you are not seen as a party that acknowledges the fact that South Africa is a multiracial racial country, I don't think a lot of your plans will be practical, because they are based on like, I don't know, imaginative world, or they are not realistic about the fact that we're stuck with each other. So it doesn't even matter what you think about black or white people or Indian or whatever. You get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, people are here, they've been here for a while, invested, they have their whole lives here. So get what I'm saying? So when you make plans, or you have your plans have to be aware and take that into consideration. But if your principles and values are bad, they're gonna now influence your policies. So even if you're so good at your policies and executing them, in fact, we hope you're not good at executing your policies, because that's like when you hear people say, "Well, the apartheid government was so good at execution." Yeah, that wasn't a good thing. Their principles and values, which is so horrible, and now the fact that they could do their things, their execution and mechanism, they can do those horrible policies. That definitely wasn't a good thing, and the fact that they could enforce that, and they could hold people who went out of line accountable, that was a bad thing, because that kind of meant that this thing is gonna take a long time to end, because there's a system in place to make sure that it's stable, So for those reasons, I don't think you should vote for those parties. But guys, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna talk about EFF. I'm gonna talk about the DA. I'm gonna talk about exciting parties, Action SA. So yeah, guys, it's gonna be fun. Cheers. Oh, guys, my tea is getting cold. In case you're wondering, I'm having tea. Like one of my favorite sandwiches, which is peanut butter and jam, jello, if you're from North America. Well, mine has a twist. I add bananas in my sandwich, and definitely African, full of carbohydrates. Cheers, guys. No, 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 no.